Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today to have an important discussion on the state of the game, but more importantly, with my account being free to play, are we able to keep up now that they've nerfed the free to play events going forward, as well as how I'm dealing with future character releases, and ultimately, I want to talk about how I'm going to be planning to stay up to date with content, whether it's new teams or characters coming to the game, or in preparation for endgame content. Like we know that a new legendary character is right around the corner that requires both Illuminati and Annihilator. So I want to shed some insight, but as well, I'll give you guys as much of a heads up and preparation time as possible. So my first tip and advice for most of you, if you guys are able to apply this to yourselves, is that we can't prioritize every game mode. If you guys have been watching my videos and been following my channel for quite some time, you'll know I've stressed this over and over, is that when you're free to play and you just don't have the opportunity, for example, to want to spend on battle passes or strike passes, well, that means you have to be very strategic with your resources. And for that reason, that means you can't be great at everything. You can dabble in all the different game modes, but at the end of the day, you have to prioritize. And for me, it's always been doing well in the arena game mode, because this generates so much power cores per day. As you can see, my investment in the Annihilator characters, as well as characters that were in the meta, being Super Scroll and Apocalypse, has paid dividends for me. I'm still in the top 10. I'm still raking in the 500 power cores per day. Mind you, I do have to fight for that slot every time it resets at night, but so far it's been fruitful. And now that we have a web milestone tied back to the Thanos orb fragments, it's been nice to get that extra little boost. I also, prioritize the raid game mode, because the Orcus raids as well as spotlights, these are one of the best ways right now to generate Crimson gear. And if you want to elevate your characters, prepare for Dark Dimension 7, and obviously Dark Dimension 8 is a recommendation for Crimson gear as well. Well, there's no better place to do that, right? War and Crucible are the two game modes that take a hit in my account, and I'm okay with that. Overall, even when you think about the big picture, even if you're a very strong war contributor, are you going to be the key reason that your alliance loses? I'll leave that up to you guys, right? You could be the best war member in your alliance, so that could obviously play a factor. For myself, I believe I'm the second lowest TCP, so for me, I don't really have a direct impact, so to speak. And then Cosmic Crucible, it just depends on my mood if I'm interested or not. But yeah, like for example, if I just go through my list here, yeah, I'm the second lowest. But I was also one of the few first that unlocked Super Scroll in the game. So it just goes to show you, management resources, not in the game, sorry, first to unlock Super Scroll in my alliance. So it just goes to show you, management of resources is very heavy. Even if you spend in the game, you have to understand the bottlenecks and how to best prepare for that. My second piece of advice, now that we're getting these nerfs to free to play and being mindful of resources, is that we have to start basically hoarding everything. And that's why I've made a video last week that I'm not going to be coring for Sentinel. I need to build up my power core supply once again, because if you guys were following, I started my account here with 20,000 plus in power cores before I used the cores directly to unlock Gladiator, Gore, and Thanos Endgame. Super happy with these investments, because now they've been earning it back for me. And then for that reason, I am gonna, do it the hard and gritty way, which is getting Sentinel unlocked the Alliance method way, which is going through those Sentinel orbs. Maybe there's gonna be a free to play event for him later on in the future. Who knows? But in the meantime, I'm gonna be patient, and the same can be said about Nimrod and going forward for this Orcus tech team. The reason is because our alliance is still doing fine right now, as you guys can see, right? If we're able to hit consistently 50-60% on the new Orcus raids, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, because it's not just me, it's everyone else is struggling. And we've had days where we're close to 70%, but that's kind of what we're working towards right now, right? So we're just doing the best we can, contributing where we can, but there's not going to be a reason that you can't continue on in the raids, because of the fact that you can still dogpile and do a single lane. So I guess for those of you wondering why I'm not really coring or carrying core for this new tech team, is because we're still able to get by. I mean, mind you, we can't solo a lane, but I mean, these characters are coming, and if it's going to be a month or two, I think our alliance is okay with that. Half of us spend, and then the other half are free to play. So we just we don't like that pressure, right? But overall, we're still a top 300 in alliance for raid ranking, so we're not complaining. But yeah, those are big ones, guys. Those are big ones. So hoarding resources and being mindful of where your priorities are, I think, is going to be very, very important. And then what I like to do on the top of my roster, as you guys can see on here, right, is keeping an eye out for the future teams that are coming into the game that do have reworks. And whenever you do have set gold during the day, when you're budgeting, you're building up these characters and teams. So, for example, Lady Deathstrike, Scientist Supreme, Agatha Harkness, and Moon Knight. These are the characters that are reworked already or getting a rework later on. Agatha and Moon Knight being part of that new Night Stalkers team. So, being aware of these characters, and when we do have budget, and I say budget as in I stick on with my budget in terms of how much I can spend per day, right? So, typically, I try to stay around my 6 million gold per day for golden opportunity. And this does a couple things, right? It controls my spending, and that way I can track it easier as well. And also, if you're limited to 6 million gold per day because you're budgeting, that also limits the number of training resources. So that's why, in my sense, when I'm building up and preparing for things, I have a lot of pivot space for gold, for training materials, just because I am budgeting, right? For example, if I wanted to bring Moon Knight to level 100, that's no problem for me. I got more than enough resources, as you guys can see, with my L2s and my L3s. I have, a million of these T4s. Whenever you see the resources, 17,000 plus. And that is a testament of me hoarding and really saving resources so that way I am ready for endgame content. Now, I do want to talk about another important item here that's allowed me to maintain these reserves of character resources, as well as, being able to pivot when need be. And that's skipping teams when you know that that's not your priority and that's not your game mode. The most recent team that I can show you here is the Merchant Money, right? Phenomenal value in War and Crucible, but I just don't have the resources, nor do I care about them enough to bring them up, right? They can give you a lot of value in War and Crucible, but the only one that matters to me was Old Man Logan, and you can use Deathpool for Apocalypse Unlock, but that's it. This is a luxury team for me, and that's one of the reasons why I'm able to save and build the way I can, right? Having said that, even characters like unlocking Old Man Logan at 7 stars, well, we were still very smart about it. Even take a look at my Out of Time team, right? I didn't touch my Captain America. I didn't touch my Captain Carter because I previously brought them into Dark Dimension 6, which was, remember, a year ago. So then Cosmic Ghost Rider and Starbrand, being the newer additions to the game, I min-maxed them. So look at that, level 90 for Cosmic Ghost Rider, level 85, and then Black Knight, he's part of my arena meta, but I try to maximize value as much as I can, so that way I can squeeze as much juice before they run dry. And this team right here, this was able to get me the 7-star for Old Man Logan. Cabal is different because they're really good all across the board, and I do have a game plan of bringing them into Dark Dimension 7, so there's those caveats there that you need to be mindful of. Just trying to think of there's other examples here. Because you guys have been following along, you'll know that I skipped my new Avengers, and I still was able to get a 7-star Green Goblin Classic, but that's because they shifted and changed over the format of that, so I was pretty happy that this landed, but because of that, this is a skip team that saved me a lot of investment, and once again, it's War, so it's not my priority, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to showcase for you guys. So what is the next possible team that I'm going to min-max here? It's likely going to be Illuminati. Although I am building up resources for them and whatnot, I'm trying to do with them what I did with Out of Time, because I do believe that we're probably going to need at least Hank Pym and Black Panther Shuri higher up. The reason they were actually geared up this way was because of the Shattered Dimension, but then we shortly learned afterwards that it wasn't even that difficult. It was more of a gear check. So for that reason, I left. As you can see, my Black Bolt and Iron Man at gear tier 15. But yeah, these are those different situations of how we can prepare, ladies and gentlemen. I think, you guys have been following my raid videos too. I just made one on this Bifrost, my gear tier 14 Bifrost. This team can get me the majority of 2 notes done when I'm doing Orcus Tech. Excuse me, not Orcus Tech, Orcus Omega difficulty 2. But that's what I mean. I'm trying to just squeeze as much juice as I can, and then Night Stalkers will come, and we'll be able to take advantage of that. But again, being patient is probably one of the biggest strengths of free-to-play, and being able to manage those resources. Having said that, guys, something that really helped me as well, and this is the big takeaway, right, which is just hoard everything. Hoard power cores, hoard orbs, hoard resources that you don't need to use. Even, for example, when Pav came in, I used one of my Blitz Orb first to max them out, and now, guess what? We are saving credits. We are saving Blitz Orbs. Great position to be in. These Spotlight Raid Orbs are really good if you want to unlock the future character for free, but remember, typically what happens with these is that they rotate over, and, are they going to follow suit to what they did with what they did with the last legendary event being Cabal getting featured here right before Old Man Logan return. If so, we may be able to hoard these orbs and then take advantage of the newer character rotations that come into this, right? So just little things like that is kind of what I'm doing to prepare, saving as much resources, not opening resources if you don't need to. The only one I'm basically opening now is Crimson Gear, and then strategically targeting, you know, mini uniques and so forth, because that's really what I need right now. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful, guys. Hopefully this gives you a, you know, a sneaky preview of what I do day to day to hoard resources, prepare for endgame content, because by doing so, look at my gold supply, look at my power cores. I'm in a position where if Marvel Strike Force or Scopely whipped out an event tomorrow, I'd be ready to pivot just because I have the resources and I am in that position to adapt. Again, that's because my priority has always been in a couple of game modes, and I highly recommend and urge you guys to do the same for your account. Take a look at what you care about. Maybe it is War and Crucible you care about, not so much Arena and Raids, but you know, I'm just telling you where the best value is right now in the game, and it is those two game modes, especially if you're a free-to-play player. So do let me know what your game plan is, what works for you, what doesn't. The good news is once you're doing it like this and you're planning, you get situations like this where maybe you build up Annihilators like I did right here. Now they're part of my Arena team. They're going to be part of my Dark Dimension team. They have some value in War for me, and they are a beast right now in Crucible. So that's what I mean. Sometimes there's those little funny overlapping points where you can get maximal value for a set team. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be hoarding more cores now because Orcus, unfortunately, does not have that same impact for me here. And that's okay. I'd rather save my resources for another future strong, powerful team that's all-rounder. Or ultimately starting Dark Dimension 8 when Odin comes, and it seems like it's going to be next week. So thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.